All right, today's parkour class, we're going to start by doing our normal warm-up. After that, we're going to go back and do the Spider-Man mountain climbers we did earlier in the week. We're going to do some stretching, work on your cartwheels, and at the end, we're going to do our kip up again and our precision jumps. Hopefully, you'll be good at jumping and doing those things by the end. And the very last thing we have for your challenge, we're doing something called the exploding frogs. All right, I made up that name, and I'll explain what that means in a few minutes. All right, as usual, we're going to start off with our warm-up. We're going to start with 25 jumping jacks. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. Now lay down your stomachs. And we're going to do push-ups. Put your hands down. Put your toes back. Pull your toes back so they're on the ground. And get ready. Push up. Say 1 and down. 2, down. 3, down. 4, down. 5, down. 6, down. 7, down. 8, down. 9, down. And 10. Hold it there. And down. Great. Stand up. All right, now we're going to do an exercise called Spider-Man mountain climbers. All right, so a regular mountain climber is when I go to a push-up position like this, we bring our knees up and we go back and forth, which we've done before. This time I want you to bring your knee to the outside of your body, kind of like what we do in the middle of a Spider-Man push-up. All right, so your feet are here. I want your knee to come to the side. Then it comes back. This knee comes to the side and back. And what we do is we do it at the same time. I want you to do that for 30 seconds. All right, now we're going to work on some stretching. I want you to have a seat. We're going to start with a butterfly stretch. So you're going to put the bottoms of your feet together. You're going to grab onto your toes. All right, now I want you to pull your head down as far as you feel comfortable. What's really important about this is that you don't curl your head over and try to touch your head to your toes. You actually want your chin or your nose to go outward towards your toes so you can keep your back straight and really pull. You should feel a stretch to the inside. So let's hold that for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Go ahead and sit up. Now you're going to put your legs out straight. When you keep your legs straight and you reach your hands towards your toes, a lot of times people will let their knees bend a little bit. Sometimes they don't even notice. I want you to be really careful, really conscious of making sure your legs are completely straight. Take your toes and pull them back towards your face. And now reach your hands out as far as you can go. If you can touch your toes, great. Some people can't, and that's fine. But what I want you to do in that case is reach down, grab onto your ankles, grab onto your pant legs if you have long pants on, and pull yourself. The important part of this is that you put your head far down and make sure that you're really making the back of your legs hurt. So put your head down. And like I said, if you can go over top and grab your toes, that's perfect. But hold on to something. Head down really far. Let's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Go ahead and sit up. Now you're going to put your legs apart. And then from here, reach your hands out in front of you as far as you can. Put your head down really, really, really far. Now, get your palms up off the ground. Reach even farther. Let's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and sit up. Bring your legs in. Go ahead and stand up. All right, now we're going to work on cartwheels, all right? With the cartwheels, the important thing to remember is that we do hand, hand, foot, foot. It's a very specific pattern, all right? Hand, hand, foot, foot. So my feet are apart and my hands are out like this. You want to think of it like the wheel of a cart, right? An old style wooden cart had a big wooden circle and it had spokes sticking out of it. So with my body, if I were a wheel, I would only have 4 spokes. I'd have 2 arms and 2 legs. Remember, as it turns, the rest of it keeps on turning. So when we do this, you want to make sure that you only have 2 things on the ground at any moment. All right, only 2, no more than 2. One common problem people make is when they start to lean, they'll put their hand on the ground the way they're supposed to, and then they'll reach and try to put their other hand at the same time. Once I hit 3 things, all my spokes are now squished up together. It makes it really hard to get the rest of it over there. So we put our feet out, we put our hands out. Now I'm going to use a line on the ground. I have this line right here that I like to use. All right, and what we're going to do is we put our hands up. Make sure that you keep your arms completely straight. It's really important that you keep your legs straight, and you're going to lift your leg up and then put it down. You're going to lift it up and you're going to put it down. Let's try that. All right, lift it up and then put it down, and then lift it up, and then as you do it, lean a little bit. So we come back and then go forward. So do this. We're going to do it 2 more times. Here, 1 more, and forward. Now stop. All right, good. Stay right there for 1 second. So we do that to get a momentum, because once we get a momentum, that'll help us roll in the circle that we're supposed to. But the thing about it is, remember I said there's only 2 things that are allowed to touch the ground at one time. All right, so right now I have 2 feet. If I put my other hand down, my foot has to come up, this hand has to be up. Once I get fully upside down, I'll have 2 hands on the ground, but neither of my feet will be there. As I start to tip over and come down, one of my feet will go down, but one of my hands is going to have to come off the ground. And then last, as I land back on my feet, both my hands will release and be off the ground again. All right, so to do a full cartwheel, all right, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get that momentum, keep your arms straight, and you go hand, foot, foot, just like that. All right, so it goes straight over top. And like I said, you want to try to stay in your line, right? Put your foot there, put your hand there, get your other hand on it, and go straight over top. All right, if you're having a little bit of trouble with the cartwheel, one of the things that I do is I have people lean over forward, and then they kind of go around. It doesn't look like a cartwheel, but it helps strengthen your arms up. It helps learn how to get the pattern down to be able to go hand, foot, foot, right? As long as I come along this line, just like I did before, then I know that that I'm going in the right motion. And if I can completely balance myself or have the strength enough to hold my body up off the ground as I do the cartwheel, that's what's important, right? And then when you get really good, that's when you can start to raise your body up as you go. But anytime you have trouble, like you're flipping around backwards, you can't land it, one important thing to do is kind of try to lean forward, all right? It's one of the key features. All right, so I want you to practice those cartwheels for 2 minutes. Good luck.
All right, and today we're going to work on a kip up. A kip up, most of you know, is that ninja flip from somebody goes from laying down on the ground to jumping up onto their feet without sitting up, without rolling up to their feet. A lot of people that I know say that they can do it, and then that's exactly what they do. They do almost like standing up from what we did with the back break fall, where they just roll up to their feet. This is going to be a little different. This is going to be jumping, right, from the ground up onto your feet. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a seat. Okay, I'm going to slide sideways so you can see what I do. You can face whichever way you want. But there's a couple of positions that are really important, all right, and a couple of things you really need to remember. All right, one of those is that our feet are going to be kind of out, and our palms are going to be next to our body, all right? We're going to circle our hands up behind us. Now, the arms are important because we actually help push off of the ground with our arms. So a lot of people try to do this without hands, and it's possible to do it without hands, but when you're learning, we want to make sure we touch our hands. So you're going to lay like this. Your hands go from here on the ground. They're going to go up as you circle backward, okay? So everything's going to rock. Everything's going to go backward. And my hands, my palms go from here in a full circle so that my fingers, at least my fingers, hopefully most of my palms, go all the way to the ground, right? Now, when we go backward, you don't want to go too far. If you go too far, right, you have to use too much muscle strength to get yourself back, right? So once we circle back and we start to come forward, the next step is going to be to kind of try to bounce myself off the ground, all right? So I'm going to show you the piece, all right, because I like to break this up into pieces, all right? There's a couple pieces you need to know. One piece is that you have to get off the ground by pushing, all right? It's just a little tiny bit of a push. If you're on a hard ground, right, this is gonna hurt you if you're not careful, all right? So we wanna make sure that we don't hit the ground really hard, all right? If you have soft place to practice this, even the grass outside might be okay, but if you have a trampoline, if you have like maybe some pillows, maybe even on a bed that's safe that your parents say is okay to use. Again, ask for their permission. Make sure that you have supervision for these things. All right, but your goal is to try to pop yourself off the ground. If you can't get off the ground like that, just a couple inches without wiggling one way or the other, all right, it's going to be really hard for you. So you have to learn how to like jump your weight up off the ground. Once you're in the air and you've pushed with your hands and you're swinging with your feet, the last part is you have to have a strong core to be able to do this. You have to be able to do a sit-up or toe touch relatively easily. All right, so all you're going to do is your hands here, your fingers go back, is you're going to circle back, you're going to kick your feet forward and out. As your feet kick forward and out and flip, what's going to happen is you're going to tuck yourself up, you're going to sit up in the air, and then while you're in the air, you should be able to rotate the rest of your body this way to be able to land on your feet.
All right, so this is what it's going to look like. All right, now we're going to work on precision jumps. Precision jumps are exactly what it sounds like. It's when we jump in a very precise manner. We land on something, we're very exact. If you don't have any equipment at home, like a balance beam, like we do at the karate school or anything like that, I have a couple ideas for you on how to utilize that. But what we want to make sure when we jump, we have our feet together. You're going to jump, and you're going to land with both your feet in the same exact spot, just like that, and with no extra movement. If you land and your foot moves just a little bit extra, you didn't have exact precision, you didn't have balance. All right, so if you need to practice this outside, that'll probably be best. One of my best ideas for you is to go to a sidewalk. And every time there's a line, see if you can jump from one line to the next and stop right on it, then jump right on it, right? We keep our hands up and our knees bent so that we can absorb the impact without falling over. Again, if you take an extra step forward, right, or your feet move apart, right? That doesn't count, right? It doesn't work right. If you're indoors and you're practicing this, um, depending on the type of floor you have a couple different options. If you have a carpeted floor, if you have a carpeted area that you're on, I think socks are a great idea because they're flat, they're soft, right? And you can practice jumping onto it. So here at the karate school, um, we happen to have these little dots here, right? These are made out of rubber. They typically don't move very much. They're a little bit easier for us to do it. So just throw out a couple socks and see if you can practice jumping from each one. I'm going to give them a time in a minute to practice those jumps, probably for about a minute. But like I said, you can pause this, go outside and do it. If you're indoors, you can do that. If you're on a wood floor or tile, something where socks would slip, don't use socks, right? Find something else that you can pick, even if it's just like if it's a tile floor, you can just jump from space to space. If it's a wood floor, then you can see the lines on there. You can just decide which line you want to jump to and go. But it kind of looks like this. So you would start from here, you would jump, make sure you stop completely, right? Don't just jump one to the next and the next. It doesn't count. It's not 1 foot, it's both feet together. So you would turn, you're going to jump right here, you're going to turn, jump right here, turn, jump right back to where you were, all without losing your balance. So those are precision jumps. I want you to practice that for 1 minute. All right, today's challenge is called the Exploding Frogs. I made up this name. It's an exercise I like to do. I don't know if it has another name. If you do know, send me a message. Let me know what it's called. But I call it the Exploding Frog. So you're going to sit. It's similar to it's a core and an ab exercise similar to the Russian twist and the Mason twist, but it's a different type of positioning. All right. So what we do is we balance ourselves just like we did for the other ones. The trick here is you got to keep your feet close together, your hands in, but you can't grab and hold on. All right, from here, your hands come in, and then you're going to explode outward, and you're going to come straight back in. Then you're going to explode outward and back in, and for some reason, I think it looks like a frog, and then bring back in. So it explodes out and straight back in. All right, so your goal is to see how many of those you can do in 1 minute.